The Earth's surface is made up of large pieces called tectonic plates. These plates float on a layer of molten rock. They are always moving but very slowly. Sometimes they slide past each other. Other times they bump into each other or move apart. This movement causes earthquakes. Plates do not always slide smoothly. Friction can make them stick. They catch and hold before suddenly slipping. This release of energy causes the ground to shake. The more energy that builds up, the stronger the earthquake. As tectonic plates move, stress builds up along their edges. This stress is like the tension in a stretched rubber band. It keeps increasing as the plates continue to push against each other. Over time, the stress becomes too much for the rocks to handle. When the stress exceeds the strength of the rocks, they break. This sudden breaking is what triggers an earthquake. The energy that has been stored is released all at once. This creates seismic waves that travel through the earth. The point where the rocks break is called the focus. It is usually deep underground. The energy travels outward from the focus. It moves in all directions, shaking the ground as it goes. The place on the surface directly above the focus is called the epicenter. This is where the shaking is usually the strongest. People living near the epicenter will feel the earthquake the most. The further you are from the epicenter, the weaker the shaking will be. There are three main types of faults where earthquakes happen. These are normal faults, reverse faults, and strike-slip faults. Each type of fault moves in a different way. In a normal fault, the Earth's crust is pulled apart. One block of rock moves down relative to the other. This type of fault is common where plates are moving away from each other. It creates valleys and cliffs. A reverse fault happens when the Earth's crust is pushed together. One block of rock moves up over the other. This usually occurs where plates are colliding. It can create mountain ranges and ridges. A strike-slip fault is different. Here the rocks slide past each other horizontally. There is little vertical movement. This type of fault is common where plates are sliding sideways past each other. The San Andreas Fault in California is a famous example. Each type of fault can cause a different kind of earthquake. The way the ground shakes depends on the movement of the fault. Understanding these differences helps scientists predict and study earthquakes better. Section 4. Seismic waves and the epicenter. When an earthquake occurs, it sends out seismic waves. These waves carry the energy released by the breaking rocks. There are different types of seismic waves. The first to reach the surface are primary waves or P waves. They move the fastest and travel through both solid and liquid. Next comes secondary waves or S waves. S waves move slower and only through solids. They shake the ground up and down or side to side. The epicenter is the point on the surface above the earthquake's focus. Scientists use seismic waves to pinpoint the epicenter. Section 5. The role of seismographs. Seismographs are instruments used to detect and record earthquakes. They measure the vibrations caused by seismic waves. This helps scientists understand the earthquake's size and location. A seismograph has a base that sits firmly on the ground. Attached to the base is a pen on a spring which is free to move. When the ground shakes, the base moves but the pen stays still. This difference in movement is recorded on a piece of paper or digitally. The result is a seismogram, a graph that shows the waves. Seismologists, people who study earthquakes, use seismograms to learn more about an earthquake. They can see how strong the shaking was and how long it lasted. By comparing seismograms from different locations, they can find the earthquake's epicenter. Seismographs are placed all around the world. This network of instruments helps scientists monitor earthquakes everywhere. They can detect even small tremors that people might not feel. Section 6. Earthquake preparedness. Earthquakes can happen without warning, so it's important to be prepared. There are several steps you can take to stay safe. First, know the safe spots in your home. These can be under sturdy furniture or against an inside wall. During an earthquake, drop to the ground, take cover, and hold on until the shaking stops. Have an emergency kit ready. This should include water, food, a flashlight, batteries, and a first aid kit. Keep it in an easily accessible place. Make a family plan. Know how to contact each other if you are separated. Decide on a meeting place after the earthquake. Finally, secure heavy items in your home. Bookshelves, mirrors, and appliances should be anchored to the walls. This prevents them from falling and causing injury during an earthquake. Being prepared can save lives. While we cannot stop earthquakes from happening, we can take steps to reduce their impact. Stay informed and stay safe.